Previously, a 37-year-old virgin, Satoru Mikami, was stabbed by a criminal on his way to dinner with his junior at work and her fiancé. Although Satoru dies, he gets reincarnated as a slime, with great skills lacking in his previous life. He soon makes friends with the storm dragon, Veldora, and gets a new name, Rimuru Tempest. Maybe Satoru will not die a virgin this time. Let's find out. Rimuru and his team, which consists of 5 goblins, including Rigor and Gobta, as well as the Tempest Wolves, embark on their journey to the city of Doragon. They soon stop to take a rest, and Rimuru asks Rigor about the person who named his dead brother. Rigor tells him that he received his name from a passing demon called Lord Gelmud, an officer in the Demon Lord's army. Rimuru is surprised to hear that there is a Demon Lord, and he quickly remembers the hero Veldora told him about. However, Rimuru is disturbed as he thinks Ranga might want revenge for his father's death, but Ranga says that even though he thinks about it, he is grateful to him for sparing him and giving them names that cause them to evolve. If only name-changing could cause evolution. He also pledges his loyalty to him, and the group continues their journey. Later on, Rimuru asks Gobta what the city of Doragon looks like, and he explains that it's a beautiful city constructed from a modified cave system which houses other species apart from the Dwarven, including humans and elves. While Gobta tells him more about the city, Rimuru could only think of the beautiful elves. Maybe he will finally find love in Doragon. Who knows? Rigor snaps him out of his imagination and informs him that the city is a natural free trade city and all fighting is prohibited by the king. The group finally arrives at the city after 3 days, even though it takes the goblins 2 months or more to walk to the city, thanks to Ranga and his pack mates. Rimuru decides to go in with Gobta to prevent drawing unnecessary attention. Rimuru and Gobta join the line, and Gobta informs him that they will be free to move around once they are inside, causing Rimuru to think about the elves again. While on the line, a group of adventurers approach them and try to harass them as they see them as weak monsters. Having instructed the goblins not to attack humans, Rimuru asks Gobta to step back and block his ears. He then asks the humans to leave peacefully. But who listens to slime, right? He soon transforms into the leader of the Tempest Wolves, but the adventurers refuse to retreat. Maybe this slime really has finally found his salt. They launch their attacks on him, but it bounces off Rimuru. He then attacks them using Menace. However, the effect of the Menace is great, and it causes a lot of damage, blowing them away, and they probably soiled their pants. Rimuru immediately transforms back to a slime as the guards approach to apprehend him. After some time, the captain of security, Kaido, informs him that the adventurers saw them as easy targets and confirms what he said to the testimony of the witness. While he is about to release him, another guard informs him that there is an Armorsaurus in the mine, and the people gathering magic ore are wounded. Unfortunately, they don't have enough healing potions, and Rimuru offers them the potions he had stored. Talk about being diplomatic. If he had applied this skill as a human, he might not have died a virgin. Later at night, in the cell, Rimuru is bored and decides to play with Gobta, but he is a deep sleeper and does not know anything. Kaido soon returns with the wounded people, and they thank Rimuru for the potion. Kaido releases him and promises to introduce him to a skilled blacksmith in return for the potions. The two leave immediately to meet Kaido's brother, Kaijin. Kaijin thanks him for healing his brothers, and Rimuru tells him about his proposal. However, Kaijin informs him that a minister named Vesta ordered him to make 20 magic swords as war is approaching, but he lacks the ore to be used. Rimuru remembers that the ore is the magic ore he engulfed while in the cave and releases some to him. Kaijin promises to honor his request, and Rimuru asks him to provide clothes, weapons, and craftsmen that will teach the goblins their skills. Kaijin accepts, but the sword making will take some time, and Rimuru requests for the one he has made. He ingests it and asks the great sage to analyze and produce 19 copies, relieving Kaijin of his duties. How does a slime with no brain have so much wisdom? Kaijin proposes that they celebrate at a club. Although Rimuru rejects the offer at first, he agrees after finding out there will be lots of elves there. Time to find an Elvian woman. At the club, the elves hug Rimuru and weigh on him, finally feeling the bosom of a lady, and it only took 37 years. Still at the bar, Kaijin feels intimidated as Rimuru produces 19 of the swords he worked hard to produce, and promises to make a better one that he wouldn't be able to reproduce. All he needs to do is swallow. While he is served his drink, he reminisces about his past life and Gobta, who is still sleeping in his cell. Soon, an elf approaches him and offers to read his future. They decide to check the person he is destined to be with, and the elf starts. She finally teases him that she couldn't see anything. Maybe he is meant to die a virgin. However, she later sees a lady with 5 kids. Rimuru wishes to meet the lady soon, but they are interrupted by Vesta, who questions Kaijin for being at the bar instead of producing the swords. Oh, he is producing something, alright. Kaijin informs him that he has sent the swords, which surprises him, and Rimuru figures out that Vesta gave Kaijin such an impossible task as they are not on good terms. To change the topic, Vesta questions Kaijin for bringing Rimuru into the bar and asks the waitress why they are allowed a monster into the bar, but she tells him that Rimuru is harmless. She offers him a drink, but Vesta pours it on Rimuru, causing him to be angry, but decides not to screw things up for Kaijin and the bar. The slime has a heart. However, an angry Kaijin punches Vesta in the face. Kaijin punches him multiple times and offers to follow Rimuru to the goblin's village as the skilled artisan he seeks. Rimuru is happy, but they are soon arrested by the guards and restrained until their trial. Well, that ended well, I thought. They are taken to the cell where Gobta is still sound asleep, and Kaijin apologizes to the brothers for dragging them into it. He later explains that he used to serve the nation's king, Gazelle Dwargo, as the captain of one of the 7 royal knights, and Vesta was his aide. Even though Vesta comes from the Marquis family, one day, one of Vesta's projects, the Magi Soldier project, gets burned down. He blames Kaijin for the failure and gets all the forces to testify falsely against him. Kaijin then carries the responsibility and quits the force, even though Vesta still holds grudges against him. Kaijin insists that Vesta is good at heart and thinks that he will be a better man if he leaves the country. He decides to follow Rimuru, and the 3 brothers also decide to work for Rimuru alongside Kaijin. Later at night, Gobta finally wakes up and he is surprised to be tied upside down. Rimuru informs him that he has something to attend to and asks him to call his Tempest brothers if he wants to get out. Well, at least he got to hang out with them. Get it? Yeah, never mind. The next morning, Rimuru and the rest are charged to court, with Gazelle being the recording judge, and they find out that their lawyer has been bribed by Vesta. Meanwhile, Vesta also exaggerates his wounds as he is seen with bandages, and he asks the judge to pass strict judgment on the group. Kaijin is initially sentenced to 20 years imprisonment and the rest 10 years imprisonment, but Gazelle stops them and asks Kaijin if he would like to take his position back. Kaijin rejects the offer as he has sworn his loyalty to Rimuru, and the king exiles them from the city. However, Gazelle scolds Vesta for severing their relationship with Rimuru through his action as he shows him the potion Rimuru gave them. Vesta is sad and begs Gazelle for his forgiveness, but he tells him never to show his face to him again and thanks him for his service. Rimuru and the group are exiled from the village, even though he accomplished his purpose of bringing back some artisans, in fact the most skilled artisans. Meanwhile, Gazelle sends a spy to arrest the bribed lawyer and asks him to watch Rimuru's move as he senses that Rimuru is a great beast, just like Valdora, except in bed. At the Free Union Blumund Guild, Master Fuse has conducted his personal investigation, and the report from the 3 adventurers, Guido, Caval, and Aaron, proves that the Eastern Empire is not trying to cross the Great Forest of Jura, and that Valdora has disappeared. Hearing that, Fuse gives them 3 days and asks that they search around the cave, as the monsters will be more active with Valdora's disappearance. The group initially disagrees as they need more breaks, but Fuse does not listen to them. While they grumble about the decision outside, a masked adventurer, Shizu, approaches them and asks if they are on their way to the Great Forest of Jura. She asks to accompany them, and Aaron, a sorcerer, accepts her proposal. They introduce themselves and inform her that they are leaving in 3 days. Meanwhile, Rimuru and the group continue their journey, and Rimuru stops to test his new skill, the Black Lightning, which amazes Ranga. They return to the goblin village, and Rimuru is surprised as more goblins have joined the village to seek protection after hearing rumors about Rimuru. Rimuru thinks of sending them back to their village, but the great sage informs him that orcs Lizardmen, ogres, and other monsters are dominating the forest, and the unevolved goblins will likely be eliminated. Rimuru accepts them and names all the 500 unevolved goblins, causing him to sleep for another 3 days. Under Kaijin's supervision, he teaches the goblins how to make tools and weapons. Germ teaches them how to make proper clothing. Dord teaches them craftsmanship, and Murd how to construct buildings. Rimuru is surprised to see how the village has changed. Meanwhile, Gobta has summoned a Tempest Wolf, on which he returned home, as Rimuru forgot him in the Dragon City, and he teaches the newbies how to summon a Tempest Wolf. Rigard is promoted to Goblin King, and he is the leader of all the other village elders that join them. Rigard informs Rimuru that they received messages from Rigard and the security team as they discovered the activities of humans within the forest. Elsewhere, Shizu and the team are being chased by a horde of giant ants. While searching around the forest, however, Shizu stops and destroys them with her magic sword. While one of the ants attacks Shizu, Rimuru arrives and destroys it with his black lightning skill. They initially thought that Shizu used black lightning, but are surprised to see a slime. Rimuru returns Shizu's mask, but finds out that she's the one he's destined to be with. Soon after, Rimuru realizes that Shizu's companions are the same adventurer he encountered in the cave. At the Goblin Village, Rigard introduces Rimuru to their leader, even though they think that he is a dangerous monster. Rimuru tries to show them that he is harmless, and Kaval explains their mission to him. Rimuru deduces that Master Fuse shouldn't have a problem with them building a village there. Later that night, Rimuru meets Shizu to ask her if she's from Japan, and Shizu holds him close while they talk. She confirms that he's also from Japan, as the joke he made earlier is from a video game, and Rimuru shares his story of how he was reincarnated. Shizu also shares her story and says that she was summoned, and Rimuru remembers Valdora telling him about being summoned into a different world, proving that Shizu is only a weapon. Shizu explains that she was summoned when her village was burning. To lighten up the mood, Rimuru asks the Great Sage to use thought communication to show Shizu some of his memories. However, the fun is interrupted as Kaijin calls Rimuru to discuss where to build a new house. While he leaves, Shizu has a flashback to when she and her mother were running from the fire and how she got engulfed by the flame. The summoner initially thinks that she's another failure, but finds out that she has an affinity for fire and binds her body with Ifrit, a fire spirit. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If this video is the most popular of our latest collection of recaps, we will make a part 3. Let us know what series you want us to recap next in the comments below.